So today my guest is Rachel Baer, and Rachel Baer is a chair yoga, therapeutic and adaptive yoga for seniors instructor. So I'm so happy to have Rachel with me today. And my story is that I'm running for state rep. So it's funny how life kind of evolves in the process of what you do and how you do it. And I'm really excited to hear what your story has been, Rachel, and the contributions that you've been making.
Thank you. Thank you for having me on.
Oh, it's my pleasure. So you are doing some work, and I heard, well, you're my neighbor, so I've known you for quite a while, but I saw that you were donating to Care and Share, and people were just singing your praises. They were so proud of the work that you were doing.
Thank you.
Yes,
I didn't know that. Thank you.
Oh, absolutely. And this was when COVID started to just break out. And so it was probably back in March or so, and the people weren't getting out of their houses. Tell me a little bit about how that all came to be, that kind of chaotic time. I think we all kind of hit the panic button for a little bit.
It definitely was a chaotic time, and I think it took March to get myself together, like the rest of March. And then in April, I think it was, I started doing online classes via Zoom. And instead of payment, I asked that they make a donation to Care and Share, or if they lived in a different town or a different state even, that they just donated to a food bank near them.
Well, that's such a lovely thing to do, because there was so much. There was food insecurity, people were losing their jobs, there was people were trying to get their payrolls, payroll protection plans were going into place, so it was just part of that, and I'm sure that you eased it a lot for a lot of people.
Yeah, I hope I made a difference. So yeah, I watched the news and it was just awful. And seeing the lines for food banks and for places like that all over our state and other states. But I thought there has to be something that I can do. And
you did it, so thank you.
The first thing that came to mind. Yeah.
That was lovely, thank you. I'm just wondering on the other end of it though, how did that work? Because I've been working a lot with seniors and a lot of them don't have laptops, they don't understand Zoom, they don't have perhaps the infrastructure, the internet in their homes. How did that all come into place?
Well, you're right. Unfortunately, a lot of them don't have Zoom or an iPad or a smartphone or anything, so unfortunately they're not able to join in, and I wish there was a way to reach them, but right now there isn't. I guess I'm doing the best that I can to reach those that I can help, but a lot of them are actually very, very savvy with the laptops, or they have help from their family. They're fortunate enough to get help from their family to set up the Zoom, and once they get the hang of it, it's pretty easy. Mm-hmm. I had to learn myself because I only just got a laptop in April, and my son very patiently taught me how to use it.
Thank God for kids. Like if I have well, they grew up with it and we didn't. It was something that we learned later on, but the kids grew up with technology from the time they were starting school, so they definitely have that advantage. So.
Sure, and I have a website, but I had never considered or had the desire to do online yoga classes because I love the interaction, seeing people talking one-on-one, chatting afterwards, often even going out for coffee or lunch with some of my yogis. Nice. So yeah, I really miss that, and I'm sure they do too.
So do you have an opportunity then to chat with them? Or do they not do that as part of the Zoom classes?
No, I usually open up the class like 10 to 15 minutes early, and I just put it in the gallery view, and they can chat to each other almost as they would if they showed up to class early. And the bonus is they can come with their coffee. And then as one of them said to me, hey, I'm never late now. And she comes with her coffee and I have my coffee, and then at just before 10 I put my coffee down, and then at the end of the class I leave it open for like 5 minutes and they can chat with me or each other. And they do.
Nice.
For like 5 minutes afterwards. So there is some of that social connection that we need. It's something that we all as humans need.
Well, it's community, and you're building community, and you're building so much more than just that. So tell me about the whole yoga process, though. You start with some stretches, I would imagine. First you roll out your mat.
We do, although I teach the chair yoga,
so
of course. As long as I have a mat when I teach on Zoom, because I have wooden floors in my house, so as long as you have your chair on a non-slip surface. So a carpet like in the studio would be fine, or I have a yoga mat, and make sure all four corners of my chair or 4 feet of my chair are on a mat, so it's not going to slip if I put any weight on it. And we start with some nice deep breathing and a short meditation, just to bring our awareness to the present moment rather than whatever we were doing before we got to our chair.
Right.
And then we start with gentle stretches, usually some shoulder rolls and side stretches. And it is an all body workout. It's surprising. People who take chair yoga are like, whoa, that's quite a workout. So we do maybe a third, maybe half the class, actually, I would say seated. Mondays and Tuesdays, I do some weights on request.
Okay.
So we do like 5 minutes of weights. Mondays and Wednesdays. And then we practice getting up and down out of the chair, because that's a big thing. If your legs aren't strong, then that's like your whole independence. So you need to be able to get up and down from your chair, and you need to be able to balance.
Well, so you said your population that you serve is 60 to 95-year-olds.
Yes.
Which I think is lovely. And I would imagine that you're having people scoot back in their chair and then just lift, raise up. Because a lot of times you'll see people who are older kind of crawl out of the chair.
Yes, so I try and teach, I teach good posture from the very start of class. Because when we work on good posture, here I am, my legs crossed, but so you're up on your sits bones, your shoulders are rolled back and down. So if you're watching this, you can practice. So are you practicing good posture now, right?
Okay, how do I look? Am I okay?
Yeah, your feet need to be hip width. There you go. And then not that anyone else can see them. And the crown of your head is reaching to the ceiling. You lift your shoulders up, roll back and down. So it's as if you feel your shoulder blades squeezing in towards each other. So most of us, me included, when we sit and relax, we're like, this is an exaggeration, but we roll our shoulders forward and we hunch over. So good posture is the whole thing. Like if you are walking and your posture is forward, you're much more likely to fall.
Exactly.
So it's so important. So we do practice posture, like constant awareness of your posture. And also if you're hunched over, you're squishing your lungs, so you can't possibly take very deep breaths. If you're hunched over like this, you need to, now your whole chest can expand and you can breathe deeply. Which is so good for relaxation,
Absolutely.
For stress relief, for getting oxygen into your body, for energizing you.
Well, and with masks that we're wearing all the time, I notice that I don't feel like I'm getting the oxygen that I'm used to getting. And just breathing without a mask on and doing deep breathing is so cleansing.
Yeah, yes, that's right.
Now, my daughter just had a baby, and her little girl is 7 months old now, and she is just starting to sit up. So when she sits up, she just has perfect posture.
Exactly.
So it just shows us that we're not meant to slouch or to sit or to lean back. But really, if you can do it at 7 months of age, of course she does kind of
she rolls over
fall and wobbles, but it just tells you, though, that that's how we're meant to sit and how we're meant to be.
Yeah, no, congratulations. And also with babies, watching how they squat down is that they don't squat down like with a rounded back. Their back is like straight, so it's protecting their spine. So we learn our bad habits as we go through life. And the chair is one of the biggest culprits. We get so used to sitting down and not moving. So one key thing is, for whoever, whatever your age, if you're watching this, to drink more water through the day, because if you're drinking water, you have to get up and go to the bathroom regularly. So then you are getting up and down. That one simple thing can make a huge difference.
Well, that's really interesting. That's so important. My niece just became a physical therapist a couple of years ago, and she told me the other day, she said, Aunt Kate, motion is lotion.
That's what I say. Yes.
I love that. So it's just like it reminds you, we need to keep moving, we need to keep limber, and we need to stretch. And I think one of the benefits of yoga is the stretching piece. I think we forget to stretch. What do you think about that?
Absolutely, yes. Yeah, we do a lot of stretching in my classes. We'll try and stretch in every direction, up, down, to the side, diagonal. Because it's not just the muscles that we're stretching, it's the fascia underneath the skin that we want to stretch too.
So, and you don't have much in the way of injury for the most part with yoga classes?
Not if you're, if you follow like the guidelines of like good posture, then no. Sure.
I remember I was taking a yoga class one time, and the yoga instructor said, it's not a competition. And I think he misunderstood that I was looking around to understand if I was doing it correctly, not like I was trying to see if I could hold it or bend longer or sustain it more than somebody else. I thought that was interesting.
Yes, yeah, that can be a danger too. But probably not so much with the age group that I teach, but for younger people, you think, I'm going to try and I'm going to get into this pose no matter what. And some bodies are just not meant to get into some of these poses. I know I can't do some of the poses that I could do 10, 15 years ago.
Sure.
I just think, well, that's okay. I'm just happy I can do what I can do.
But I would imagine it sustains your body, your bone strength, your bone density. So as far as
Absolutely.
Yes. So that's good. And you mentioned pain relief and tension relief. Could you talk to me about some pain relief? What do you notice with that?
I've noticed that even with the classes via Zoom, several people have emailed me, or said to me on the screen when we've been in class, I've really noticed such a difference, say, in my shoulder or my back, or the stretching is really helping me, or can you give me a particular stretch, or can we do something for hips, or and then we work on that, or for necks. So we often hold a lot of tension in our necks and shoulders, so I always end with neck and with a neck stretch just before we do our breathing and meditation at the end of class.
Nice.
And I have actually just taken a 2-day intensive training with YogaFit, who I trained with, yoga for chronic pain.
Nice.
So that was 2 days of, a lot of it is meditation, slow, gentle, repetitive movements, and things to like relax the nervous system so that we don't hold that tension, especially now. So many of us are in more of a like fight-flight mode because life is uncertain and a bit scary. So it's good for people to have somewhere they can come, where they can have that moment where they focus on their breathing. They're doing something positive for their well-being, and they feel good afterwards. It's not just for your body, it's for your mind as well.
I can see that. I like to bike every day. I bike past your house, and I notice when I'm biking, I just, the hills, some of the hills are a struggle because we live in a hilly area, but just to look out over the water and to enjoy the air and the trees, and
exactly.
It takes your mind off anything that you might be
concerned just getting
about.
Outside, especially in nature, if you can, is even for a few minutes a day, but if you can exercise outside, then that is definitely beneficial.
Now, you said it's all about helping you to feel better and reducing the anxiety. And you do have a DVD. Let's talk about that. Yoga Keeps You Fit. This must have been quite a operation or production to get this into place.
It was, I had the easy part. I taught the class. So there's another local person, Stefan Alio, who I believe that you probably know.
Yes.
So he did the filming with his studio, Alio Media, and yeah, he was able to put that together for me, and he was very good. He was very patient and put it together, and we send the files to a company and they deal with the rest, and along comes the little package. Filmed at the studio the senior center where I teach, during a class, because I wanted it to be realistic, that it wasn't just filmed in a studio, that people felt they were actually in a class.
So that felt good, and that's exciting. And then this is the kind of thing that everybody can take home with them or purchase. And how would they purchase? It's at the www.yogakeepsmefit.com.
It is, sure. If you know me, you can give me a call. Stop by my house.
Okay.
And or if you're local, I can just drop it off to you. But and it's $19.99, including tax. And you can get it on
$1 for each DVD will be donated to the Estuary Council of Seniors.
That's right. That was a way of giving back for them allowing me kindly to film it there.
You're so generous, though. That's one thing I would say about you. One of your greatest strengths or qualities is that you are very generous in
Thank you.
everything that you do. I see that about you. And this is 60 minutes. How long do you recommend for people to do yoga?
As long as you want. You can do like 10 minutes a day. I've actually just started or just resurrected and added to a YouTube channel called Chair Yoga with Rachel.
Nice.
For those that just want to do like little yoga snacks, I call them, and I put those on my Facebook page too. So yeah, but if you're up to doing a whole hour, but you certainly don't have to, I would say 2 to 3 times a week to at least do some kind of stretching and strengthening.
Okay, good to know. Have you always been strong and athletic? And
no, a long time ago. So shortly after I had my second child, goodness knows that's a very long time ago. But I was pretty overweight and probably maybe 65 pounds heavier than I am now. And yeah, I decided that I'd had enough and that I was going to go to the gym. And at first I could do 10 minutes and then it got to be a little obsession of mine. So then it would go to being far more than that, an hour or so, a couple of hours a day. And it's toned down a little now. I try and do still just an hour a day.
So you went from probably maybe bike riding or treadmill to actually taking yoga and doing the stretching?
Yeah. So I started yoga by accident. It wasn't a plan of mine. I got injured from an overuse injury from all those wonderful step classes that I used to go to.
Okay.
And yoga, there was a yoga class at the gym I went to, and it was the only thing I could do that didn't cause me pain and that actually seemed to help me get better. So I stuck with yoga, and then the instructor who I got to know said, oh, you should come to this like 1-day training with me. Actually, it was a 2-day training. And it was like an introduction to Yoga Fit, the 2-day level 1 training. So I went along, and as part of that, you need to then give 8 hours, I think it is, in like community service yoga. And then they needed me, the instructor called me, literally, they'd woken up with a migraine. They called me at 7 in the morning, and I think the class was at 9 o'clock in the morning. Can you sub for me? And I was like,
are you kidding?
Yeah. I was like, are you kidding? I was still half asleep. So of course stupidly, I don't know, but I said yes.
But hey, it opened a door.
Yeah, it did. And I was like, it was terrifying, absolutely terrifying. And I had like a little plan written out because I had already started writing little plans out anyway. And then I figured, oh, okay, yeah, it's terrifying, but it wasn't so bad. I want to do it again. So I went away and I got some more training, eventually got my 200-hour, and since then I've done another 100-hour therapeutic yoga training and some other trainings, including the chronic pain and a few others. So, it's almost like the more I learn, I think, gosh, there's so much more to learn.
Do you incorporate some Pilates into your yoga classes as well? Not with your chair yoga.
No, I used to. I used to teach a class called Payo, which is a combination of Pilates and yoga. So yeah, I loved teaching that. So I haven't taught that in a long time, but I used to. Yeah, that was so much fun.
And now there's so many different kinds of yoga. The kids do the hot yoga, and what is the benefit of that? Just that you're in a hot room and you burn more calories?
Yeah, you burn more calories, and yeah, you just get to sweat it out, I guess, and it's more energetic. I also like taking that too. Yeah, I've made my 3-season room into a little yoga room this summer, and so I've been doing a lot of hot yoga.
Oh, have you?
Because it's hot.
Okay.
Hot and humid. I don't need any extra,
hot and humid. Now, you mentioned something about your cats and that they were helping you with your yoga Zoom classes.
Yeah.
Do you have a funny story to tell?
I'm not sure that helping is the right word, but yes. So I thought I had been very creative and put up a nice thin little curtain to hide my kitchen from our doorway. Our house is very open plan, so to just hide the doorway so that then my son and husband could walk in and get their coffee without having to wait an hour until I'd finished teaching class.
Right.
So
or else they would just barge through with
No, they were not allowed to barge through. They were not allowed to barge through. So I put this up. I think this was like the second day. I thought, okay. And then one of the cats, she came in and was like pawing down at the curtain. She was playing with it, and she could walk around the other way and get to the kitchen the other way, down the hallway, but no. So she yanked at this thing with got her claw stuck.
Oh no.
And pulled the whole thing down. So then, of course, I looked around and thought, well, it's going to take me at least 10 minutes to sort it out, put the curtain back on the rod. So I just carried on as if nothing had happened. You get used to that.
Of
you
course.
get used to. At first, I found it hard teaching with interruptions, but now, like, people come in, people get out to go to the bathroom, and now, of course, you've got the Zoom. It's a whole different thing. But
And then you have the Zoom camera set up, and you have special lighting so that it accentuates you, I guess, as the instructor to help with that. Yeah.
It worked very well. There's one room in the house which has very good natural lighting, and I just turn on the overhead light, open up the blinds, turn the air conditioner off, and just rearrange the room. And it took a while to figure out the best way to do it, and occasionally I forget to hit record or whatever, but so I do my classes Monday, Wednesday, Friday at 10.
Okay.
But I also record them for those people that can't make 10 o'clock. And a lot of people have been doing the recorded sessions.
And how often would you recommend for most of your population, basically seniors, right, 60 to 95, how often would you recommend for them to be taking a yoga class?
Oh gosh, as many times as they feel that they can do it, because you don't have to do the whole hour. 2 to 3 times a week, more if they want to.
Well, I have some people I think I'd like to recommend this to and get them started. So you've been becoming a little bit famous these last few weeks and months. You said that you were on a radio show not too long ago?
I was, last Saturday actually, yeah.
Oh, and how did that go?
I think it went well, yes. I haven't had time to re-listen to all of it. I just got the recording yesterday actually, so.
That's exciting. And then you were written up in medium.com.
I was, yeah. I was really surprised and honored. That was like, whoa, that's very cool.
Well, I think when you follow your path and follow it really brings you joy and you're so generous with it, I think some comes back to you, and the more you give, the more...
Yes, you're right. I'm sure that's how it works. It's how the universe works, for sure.
Well, and you're enjoying it. So what is your most favorite pose? Like, what are some of the things that we would do? Could we walk through? I know you did the stretching at first, and my legs are...
Yeah, and I'm not really in
appropriate
yoga clothing, but we can do some upper body stretches.
Yes.
Sure. So let's see. So we have arms on these chairs, so it's not quite as easy, but let's see. We could lengthen the spine. So let's put our feet hip width.
Okay.
Press through your feet, and we're not going to move anything else. Find some length in your spine. Just let your arms just relax on the arms of the chair. Press your feet really firmly into the floor as hard as you can. Lengthen the spine, relax those shoulders. And
That's
you should feel, right, your legs are already working. We haven't moved.
Right.
We're not, it doesn't look like we're working, but this is already work. And then let's bring our arms up. So if you're doing this with us and you have any shoulder issues at all, then just go as far as you're comfortable. Go with your own range of motion and we'll reach up. So this is where your posture comes in. Let's bring those arms down. So let's do a little check. So if we sit here with rounded shoulders, and then we try and lift our arms up, they're not going to get very far, because I'm rounded. But if we roll the shoulders back, squeeze those shoulder blades together, as if you're trying to squeeze a lemon in between those shoulder blades, right? Press those feet into the floor to engage the legs and the core. And now we can lift our arms up. So if you don't have good posture, it's going to affect your range of motion. So you can see that just in that simple movement. So yeah,
So even when you're in a meeting, though, I'm thinking one of my takeaways is that you can be exercising and stretching even though you feel like your back is getting tired by pushing your legs, like what you just said, from the knee down into the ground.
Yeah, in fact, some offices do have, corporations have chair yoga, like just a 15-20 minute session. Someone will come in and do it at lunchtime. So we could do something else, like press those feet, they're still hip width. Press them into the ground and get tall, shoulders back and down. So always find length in the spine before we twist, and then we'll just like bring our arms over to the side. And then we come back to center, press into the feet again and get taller, and then we'll go off to the other side. You can have your hands on your leg and hip, or we can make the movement bigger. So your shoulder is rolled back if we're reaching back here.
Okay.
Just so we're not hunched over.
Right.
And then we can come back. And we do simple things too, like flexing the feet, because that gets movement into your legs and your ankles. And if your feet and your ankles aren't very strong, then your balance isn't going to be very good either.
And balance is the first thing people lose, isn't it, when we start to age, or one of the first things?
Yes.
Right.
It is. So we practice a lot of work with our feet, with our ankles, and then we practice balance behind the chair too. So we do a lot of regular standing yoga poses, but they're modified a little, so you don't go as deep into the pose, we might not hold it as long, but there's still the same bone strengthening moves that you would expect in a regular yoga class.
And the chance of injury is so minimized.
Yes.
And people are in their own home. Can they do this without anybody else in the home?
They can, if they're sure. I always say, look, if you're not sure about doing something, if you don't feel safe, please don't do it.
Right.
Because I am not there to catch you. And even if I was, there's no guarantee I could run to you fast enough. So, especially being in their own home, there's so many things, precautions you can take.
Yep. Oh, okay.
Like for full prevention, like with those lovely mats that most people have as you come in the front door and the back door. Make sure it's non-slip. It's really stuck to the floor, because that's one of the main causes of falls.
Okay.
And pets, you can trip over pets.
Of course.
Yeah, I've nearly tripped over cats. So.
Well, and they run in front of you, and you think you're going someplace, and then off they go. We only have a couple of minutes left, Rachel. Our time has been lovely together. Is there anything that we didn't talk about that you'd really like to share? Maybe people's advice on how important it is? We've kind of underscored that throughout the whole conversation.
Just that it's fun. You know, people come and they're surprised how much fun, even via Zoom, like even remotely, it's fun. Don't take it too seriously. Just relax and enjoy it, and allow your body to move.
Well, allow your body to move. I think that is just such an important thing for you to recommend again. And the idea of staying hydrated and making sure that you do get up and take breaks and don't push your body too much beyond what you're actually doing. Now, what's in the future for you? It sounds like you're on the way to becoming famous, but do you plan on having, I don't know, kind of Richard Simmons kind of things down the road, or Jane Fonda?
I don't know, you know, I have no idea. I love doing what I'm doing, and I know that it's what I'm meant to do. It's like I feel like I come alive when I do it, when I teach. So it's not just something that I do for other people. It's important to me.
It keeps you healthy.
It makes a difference to me, and makes a difference to others. So, you know, you can't really ask for much more than that.
No, it's perfect. And you don't even have to leave your house.
Right now, no.
But you're probably anxious to get back and to be in a community. I think everybody is.
Once it's safe, for sure, yeah.
Right, yeah. And you found that you have altered your life quite a bit with COVID-19, just like everybody has.
Yes.
Oh, yeah. But you're doing it, and you're making a difference, and people appreciate you. You're a very popular instructor, I know, in East Lyme.
Thank you.
So thank you so much.